Right, we're at the famous Wolf Tones Club here in Derrymacash. It was the home of Bill McCarry, John McCarran, Fitty Moriarty and double all-star Paddy Moriarty from the 70s and early 80s. And we've got Jamie Haughey here as well, who's one of the new up-and-coming Wolf Tone stars, who's the captain of the St. Ronans team in 2018 that done the treble, McCormick Cup, Camaraderie Cup and Hogan Cup. On the right-hand side there we have Laurie Ward. Lawerence was the captain in 1985 when St. Michaels were beat in the Macrorie final. On the side Laurie we have Seamus Heffernan, who managed several teams with St. Ronans and St. Michaels. Jamie Haughey, the captain in 2018, and Oisin Smyth, he's very welcome over the Tones at the minute. So we're going to start off by looking back, Lawerence, a wee bit. Before this all came around in 2018, you captained St. Michaels 1985.
Yeah, well 84 and 85, Eugene. 84 we would have won the All-Ireland B. So we got sort of 2 years of football really, you know, at a high level. But 85 then we're beaten by Mahara in the final.
Yeah. What do you remember about the prelim to that game, and did Henry Downey allegedly stop you in your tracks?
Aye, stopped me on the field, Eugene. Too good for me. But no, before the game, Eugene, you know, very much amazed. The whole thing was, you know, we had 2 years of that from school. You know, we'd won the year before. Very, very confident, you know. But I wouldn't have said we're overconfident. We'd played Mahara a number of friendlies. Seamus was from Mahara, had played for Mahara himself. Lots of connections. So we'd played, you know, the Mahara team from the year before as well. Very, very strong team. You know, Damien Cassidy was playing on that team, you know, as well. But, you know, we thought we were in with a fighting chance. But on the day, Eugene, we met a very, very strong team. Very, very strong team. We didn't really get started, which didn't help. But, you know, if we'd have played out of our skins, I don't think really would have scratched them. Very, very good side.
Who Downey's played in that team?
Henry and Seamus played, but Danny Quinn played. There's a number of other fellas Seamus would have hurled for Derry as well. I had got very friendly with most of them, you know, down Belfast and whatever. And even pre that stage, because we played so many friendlies against them, you know. So we knew what we were up against, but a very strong team. And, you know, as I said, captain of the All-Ireland Derry winning side, you know, I was up against him, which I didn't realise at the time. He was also playing hurling for the Derry senior team. You know, so great players, great players.
Yeah. An honour to play against them, obviously.
That was, yeah, if I'd have played. Yeah, but it was nice to be on the field, you know what I mean. But it wasn't nice at the time. It was the first televised final, and it wasn't nice to, you know, sort of get badly beaten in it. But to be honest with you, I couldn't say it was like a desperate disappointment. You know, we had good times, and you know, it didn't end the way we wanted. But sure, you move on when you're young.
Yeah, Seamus, getting Seamus involved here, and Seamus, you would have managed quite a few of the St. Michael teams before it come to Jamie and Oisin from the modern day. I mean, looking what you did with the teams you had and the players you had, do you think what these lads did 2 years ago could be emulated? I mean, that was historical, basically winning the three.
I'm going to be really honest, from the bottom of my heart, what these boys have achieved is something else, and I don't probably think it will be ever emulated, to use your word, in the future. It's such a difficult thing to achieve. Never mind a McCormick Cup, but a Macrorie Cup, and then also a Hogan Cup. Formidable task to redo that sort of thing.
Yeah. How much was it down to obviously the three managers? I mean, you know who they are yourself, David.
Davey, Mickey Donnelly and Collie Fagan. Three very, very, very astute men, and very hard working and very genuine GA men, and left no stone unturned.
Yeah. We're going to talk to the lads in a wee second. We've got with all the Lurgan clubs. We had a lot of boys from Turn and Oak playing as well. Is the sort of the achievement of, you know, Samir Yahagal maybe underplayed a wee bit? If you look back at the teams that Lawerence was on, teams you managed, the boys who played with Jamie and Oisin, Samir Yahagal had a big say in all those teams. Who were the players that you remember
Well,
playing?
we look back at 85, Lawerence would probably testify to this. Rooster Lochran in goals. Young blade, young fifth year, did very well, in spite of his youthfulness. We had Big Welsh, I think, at full back, Lawerence.
Yeah.
Right?
In the previous year, Liam McStravick.
And
that was 84.
Adrian Hanlon was on the panel as well, I think, in 85.
85, yeah.
So with that, and then it just, Achigal's been had great input over the years, great GA community.
Yeah.
And I mean, these boys here, I think you boys had 5 on it?
Five starting.
Yeah. I think Eugene, just to say, the Achigal lads added a steel to the team.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like a steeliness. A lot of players from the town, good players, you know. And in our time, you know, from 84 to 85, Liam McStavick, we lost from the team, and another player, Marsh McCleary from the town, you know.
Yeah.
But you missed that, and you realised the next year we weren't the side that we were the previous year.
Yeah.
But the Gallen boys, I said, you know, good players, great players, but the steeliness, and especially in the lads team, you know, was absolutely crucial. And saying Jimmy helped a wee bit in that area as well.
He would have done. Jimmy, looking back on it, before we come to Oisin here, you signed for Lurgan Town this year. You played a bit of soccer reporter there in your youth as well. You were thrown into the captain's role very, very early with St. Ronans, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what was that like with people like myself looking pictures off you, looking interviews off you, BBC, UTV, looking at you all the time? How were you able to cope? And Seamus might know about this as well. How were you able to cope with the pressure and also play at a top level? How difficult was it for you personally?
I wouldn't say there's much pressure on myself. You look at the leaders on the team, there was Oisin, there was Tiernan Kelly and Jack Lanahan. They all shared it with me. They just didn't have the name on it. But there was no pressure at all. It was just played away, and an interview or a photo was just not a bonus for me. You know, get yourself out there.
Yeah.
But there's no actual pressure for me at all, especially with the lads around you. We just played football, and that's just what we've done all year.
You enjoyed it all?
Yeah, big time.
Your role was, you're obviously a stopper there too. You had, would it be right in saying Jack Haughey done a lot of sweeping behind you at that stage?
He did, yes. Jack probably doesn't get mentioned enough for the work he done.
Yeah.
Jack was in the corner back, but he was always a man marker. So he swooped up everything that got past me, basically. So Jack done a lot of hard work. So he did, but it doesn't really get noticed.
Yeah. Excellent. Oisin, just coming to you, I know you're up with the Swifts, Dungannon Swifts at the minute. You haven't been seen around the Sarsfields recently. Are you focusing at the minute before you come onto your school? Are you focusing at the minute on basically Dungannon Swifts and going to lock yourself in there for a while?
Yes, well, that was the plan this year, Eugene. You know, obviously last year I tried the Gaelic and the soccer, and it was tough. I was training, I wasn't able to train with the Sarsfields all the time, and then you don't like going for one and then letting them down for, I think the year before I actually let them down for a championship game, and it's not nice. I know people might think I'm picking the soccer over the Gaelic, but that was always the case for me, do you know what I mean? I just want the soccer. And going into the Gaelic, it's not fair when there's boys turning up all year to put in the pre-season training and stuff like that, and then come down and maybe getting on ahead of them or something like that, so it wasn't for me.
I hope you don't mind me talking about one particularly historic moment the boys will all remember it in Crow Park 2 years ago on the right hand side under the Hogan stand. I was directly behind you. I mean, there was so many games throughout the year were so memorable. And there was like Josh McGurn come on, made fantastic stuff, scored great, TK, Tim Kelly, yourself, Jamie, all were fantastic. I think that final may be remembered by Big Leo Montero overturned the full back, taking the ball off him, the ball came out to you on the right hand side, you hit the right side of your right boot. What were you thinking when the ball left your foot? I mean, it was a fantastic score. Was it the score of the season without being too modest about it?
Well,
what do you remember about that?
As soon as I left my boot, I was more just hoping it was going to go over, you know. It's not often you get away with shooting from there and missing. But yeah, obviously that score, it took the headlines and stuff you said, but as Jamie said there, the likes of the defenders don't get enough of a mention. Jamie there, for instance, he made a block maybe with 5 minutes to go, that stopped probably at least a goal anyway. And the stuff like that doesn't get mentioned, the likes of his name Jack Haughey as well, and Ian Mulholland's probably another one, you know, on the full back line that do all the dirty work. It takes you up to that point. So yeah, the point was nice, obviously it was a good feeling, and but yeah, leading up that is just sort of what goes on behind it.
I mentioned that again there, Jamie, about Seamus and Laurie, and Oisin mentioned them too. They're the unsung heroes sometimes when you've got, you know, all the St. Peter's, Clonerne, Tone, Sarsfields boys, St. Paul's. The Haughey boys were the backbone, young Lamont, the centre half and the full back and all. They were the backbone of that team apart from yourselves.
Yes, I think there was 7 in total, if I'm right, in the squad. The goalkeeper, Luke Mulholland, and there's Aidan Mulholland, there's Jack Lanahan, Mark McAfee, Alan Lochran,
Jimmy,
and Jimmy Lamont. Yeah, they were all solid players. They were right down the core of our team. So it was our young men. As you said, don't really get much of a mention because they're not from Lurgan. But from Iveson School, from St. Paul's right up through St. Michaels and the surrounds, they've always been there the whole time, like the rest of us. I just think Gallen doesn't really get it the light because they're not in Lurgan.
Yeah.
But they were the core, they were the spine of our Hogan winning team.
Big time.
So they were.
Seamus, just looking back at right through that campaign, right through McCormick, right through the McCrory and the Hogan, you said about men being eliminated again. Some of the games were won by a point.
Yeah.
Some of the games won by 2 points. There's no runaway victories. What does that tell you about a team if you're a manager?
Well, I just actually ironically talked to Davy Wilson a couple of weeks ago about that, and the guys you've in that team, and probably that would bit extra character maybe in some other than maybe previous teams, and that was a combination of that, or culmination of that, just added to the overall picture, the overall success, and that helps. That character, that background, a lot of very, very good backgrounds coming into to play, you know.
Just a wee later note, Lawerence, what did Seamus say in you to make you captain?
Opinionated, I think. Eugene.
Were you in front of your time, do you think?
No, well, I was just saying we had our moments, like, you know, discipline issues and whatever. You know, one of the main things I would remember from that time was that, you know, Seamus just introduced, I'm just not taking any nonsense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you sort of needed, there was a lot of straight talking, a lot of like, you're off the panel, you know, to people, great players, you know what I mean? Now, you know, think about Seamus, Tony McPartlin, you know, Dolly McGee, Remy McCrory, Jerome Scull, you know, very good players, Eugene, you know. But Seamus set his stall out, you know, we need discipline, we need people that'll stand up. You know, I can remember one occasion, you know, having to basically have to tell one of the teachers that he wasn't pulling his weight, you know what I mean? Like you know, but it had to be done, so you had to have people that were prepared to sort of stand up. But the commitment level was incredible. And I think number one, Seamus, it was probably commitment, you know, was, you know, people have to believe. I look around me, Eugene, I tend to see people what's good in them, you know, not criticising, and I think if you lose the negativity, and I think that's a large part of what we had, you know, I thought all our players were brilliant, you know, and I think when you do that, you always feel you're into the chance, and the number of times we would have come back, and even Jamie's side, you know you've match winners. You know, so you're playing on, you're not giving up, because you know you've players the team, you know, like a Stu Corey, Mark McGuinness played for us, that have poached 2 goals in the last 5 minutes as often as not, you know what I mean? So you always felt you had the character and you had the ability to do anything, you know, and Seamus would have called us a second half team, because we played on, we knew we would beat teams. We just kept going, we would get the chances. So
I think one thing when you do look back on it, and this is a good point, Lawerence, something for discussion in the future. Some of the boys that didn't make it from St. Paul's into the Grammar would probably have helped that side. I don't want to mention names. There were 3 or 4 very good players left behind. But that's not the right terminology to say that, left behind, but didn't come out or didn't choose to come out or didn't whatever decide to come out. But they would have added to it. We'd have been 19 players, hadn't we?
I think the other side of that, Seamus, is that's very relevant because the other teams had that. Like Mahara would have had that. Mahara would be like the equivalent of what St. Ronans are now, where we sort of were the grammar school, and you know, so you weren't picking from the full complement of people in the town, Eugene, you know. Like I can think of players, Seamus, and we would have had some side. I mean, you know, our side was good enough anyway, but you had those players and it'd be absolutely incredible.
So we linked Oisin here just briefly before I go back down. Pat McGibbon would have played with you, Neely Lennon would have played. You know, they went on to do other things, better things maybe than we did. But Lennon, would Neil have made it if he had stayed?
Lennon was excellent. Fantastic coordination, brilliantly technical, and it could have played Gaelic at the county level, no problem. But he just decided to go to soccer, that's it. Arguably like Oisin.
Pat as well, and Oisin Smyth.
Big Pat played centre half back in the minor team. I think he played 2 years county minor again. Very, very accomplished player. Very good on the ball, good reader of the game. A very bright player. But again went to soccer, and good luck to them. Did very well.
Exactly. Jamie, your parents had a fantastic role in the whole thing, you know, following you and Oisin's parents as well, and right through to the final thing in the Seago, where he's had a big night and everything else. Do you think the parents all got together and formed new friendships because of the whole situation?
Yeah, I definitely think so. The journey went on, my dad still talks about it. My dad didn't miss a game.
Really?
The whole way through it, took half days off work to go watch. But yeah, I would say 100% parents did make new friendships because they were always there. They were great. The support from the parents was incredible, like the whole way through the year. So they were always there together whenever we were together. So I would say that definitely did make good friendships through the journey.
Don't want to pick anybody out, but you know, it's so hard to look at how many good players there were in St. Ronans over the years. And I think maybe Owen McConnell got 1-7. I'm not sure which it was at the semi-final.
Potts.
Yes.
St. Pat's and Samuel Golden 7 points, quality player from St. Paul's, you know, and young McGurn as well. Owen would have been one of them guys, probably like his father Shane McConvey was playing. There was no nonsense around him. He did it or he didn't do it, and he was always there. So what sort of influence did he have in that year as well?
Well, you say there are ones as straight up as they come. You know, if he thinks something, he'd say it. Obviously, that character helped him in that what he got against St. Pat's. You know, he was hitting free kicks and stepping up for 45s, and it was nothing to him. You know, he's got that confidence behind him, and when you've characters like that in the team, it always helps.
Brilliant.
About on there, just the start of the year, he was struggling to get into the 15, the starting 15.
That's why I mentioned it, yeah.
But Oisin will tell you, usually be him and Oisin, the last ones to leave training field. He sat, he done an extra hour and actually 2 hours in the training field to get into the starting 15.
Yeah.
And when he did get in, he made his mark. He said once in the semi-final of the Corey Cup. Like.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's something going.
It
Just shows
was
the
something,
character.
Eugene, I remarked on about their team. You mentioned that much. Ryan Leon in the final. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go Adam Loughlin and just all the lads. Somebody different stepped up every time. You know, tremendous character through a team.
Yeah.
You know, rather than one or two main players. You know, every match, and Oisin then steps up in the final. You know, and it was great talking to the parents afterwards.
Yeah.
And they played so well
Fantastic.
and done something. You know, it just was fantastic to be part of that. You know, just to see it, not part of it,
Yeah.
but just to watch it. You know.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say as the Seamus as well. I mentioned to you last night about, without controversy in any way, the team that you played on, did not too many of them go through the county level? Did some of them fall away after that?
And nobody had like a sustained career at Seamus, but that's fair. But I was looking at a Hogan Cup winning St. Coleman's team, and I knew one player on it, and that lad played minors for Armagh. I don't remember him ever featuring for the seniors, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's, you know, to be honest, it's a team thing. You know, I mean, it really, really is a team thing, and you know, stars do nothing for you. You know, we beat a St. Coleman's team that was full of fellas went on to play for the county.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they did. And it's just, you know, if you saw the commitment levels, which I'm sure the lads put in, you know, we were training 3 and 4 nights a week, training 2 break times, you know, and it's just special in that sense. The ability to play football is great, but its character was the winning of it for us, you know.
Seamus, you know, St. Ronans came out of the blue on a lot of people's point of view. You had your big traditionalists, you had St. Pat's, you had St. Ronans, you had St. Coleman's, Maherfeld, Mahara. You know, looking back on it, what were you hearing from other teachers and other schools for saying, this can't be right? St. Coleman's are winning this, St. Pat's are winning. I mean, what were they saying to you? I mean, were they surprised?
I'll be honest, from where I come from, it's a haven for Gaelic football.
Yeah.
And probably other smaller communities within Derry or Tyrone would have doubted the fact that a County Armagh team, Lurgan based, would ever have won a Macquarie Cup, never mind a Hogan Cup.
Yeah.
So it was a surprise in one sense, but then they were taken for serious when they saw their performance in the final with Macquarie. Just with all the a great Kerry side.
I found that, Seamus, when I went to Queen's, everybody knew you from the Macquarie. Yeah. Everybody knew who you were. I wouldn't have known anyone, and you realised in Lurgan, because nobody was playing Macquarie football in Lurgan, only the lads that went to Coleman's.
Yeah.
But everyone knew you. You know what I mean, from that. And the same with the lads, you know what I mean, you'll be amazed how many people know of you, Jamie, you know, and fellas you would never think of. But, you know, just in the town we weren't brought up with that, Eugene, you know what I mean, Macquarie Cup football, you know.
St. Pat's, St. Coleman's and all with the traditionalists.
I wouldn't have known any of the players I played against, unless I ran into them in the, you know, county minors type thing. But whenever you went there, you realised how many people followed Macquarie football.
Unbelievable.
You know, so it is, as I said, it shows you the magnitude of what the lads did, you know.
Yeah. Just before I come down to you again, Jimmy, was there ever a time during that year when you said, look, when the McCormick, you were saying to yourself, we can actually go and do this? I mean, was that belief always there from the start of the season?
Yes, well, listening back me up, before we even started training, at the start of the year, we had said to ourselves that this will be the year we'd put in that we're going to go. We'd been 2 semi-finals the year before, and we didn't want to stop at the semi-final. It was most of our last year in school, and we've been through school the whole way of each other. So we just had to mark out from the very beginning saying we're going to go and win the Macquarie Cup, and nothing's going to stop us from the very day of that. Like.
Yeah. How strict were the managers, Oisin?
Managers were very good that way. With me personally as well, with soccer, I can always remember Davey said to me from right from the start, he says, like, we're willing to work with you, do you know what I mean? And that was a big part of me playing, you know. my dad had said to me at the start of the year, you know, what if it does run on? What are you going to do with the soccer and mix? And he says, Davey's willing to work with me. I says, but there's no chance I'm missing out this year, because as Jamie said right from the start, it was in our heads that we were going to win it.
Very good. Just back to the last game from '85, Seamus. That was the pinnacle. That was the pinnacle for St. Michaels, that '85 final. You know, did you see that coming 2 years before it? What happened after it? You tailed off after it? Was it
I think
a lot?
arguably again we could have won a Macquarie Cup 2 or 3 years later, but then Lennon left. He went to City. Marty McAlinden left prematurely. He captained a team in Croke Park for myself.
Martin from Sarsfields.
Yeah, very good player. Young, a couple of other guys left. I can't hardly remember to tell you God's truth now. But that broke it all up, and that's put an end to that. Those aspirations, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Laurie, just looking back, you know, we can talk about this forever, but looking back on it, you enjoyed your time with St. Michaels. You were at the final, the Macquarie Cup final and the Hogan final, right? What was it like? What was it like when the final whistle went? You know, would you like to have been on the team basically?
To be honest, Eugene, I was starting to follow him about 2 years previous. To see what Jimmy saying about the years that they thought they should have done better. I coached, you know, knew a lot of the lads, and I thought they would go close, and I'd watch them. And you know, it's not a frustration because you know there's little margin in it, but it was incredible to see at the end of it. To see it, but it's sort of Oisin's point, you know, really, you know, it all broke, and then to score something like that, it just built up and built up. But it was amazing to look down and see all these people from Lurgan, see the good-heartedness, Eugene.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing I never understood. We went afterwards, Seamus, do you remember, on a bus, you know, the bus round the town, Eugene. The crowds that came out was incredible, and you realise, like, you know, how much it does mean to people in the town. Yeah. And we now, all right, that was the previous year we're going to be. Yeah. But to win the Macquarie and then to win the Hogan, absolutely incredible.
Fantastic. And is it a situation where all the clubs come together under the one umbrella, so they start wishing each other well? They're all a bit of camaraderie among them, Seamus?
Yeah, well, I remember Lawrence dad, God rest him, going round with me round Lurgan, and we were actually collecting money from business people. It sounded like parasites, like. And we used about 350 quid to buy kit bags. And after losing the Macquarie final, this is well documented, the nuns wanted the kit bags back.
Oh.
I think 3 boys refused to give them back. You know, but that's all part of the story, isn't it?
What it's all about. Jamie and Oisin, it'll probably take 40 years before you realise what you've actually done. It's been a fantastic achievement. I know Lawerence and Seamus have been there back and forth too, but basically, when did it sink in with you? You know, obviously, was it straight after the game? Did you look back weeks down the line after the celebrations finished?
Yeah, well, for me, I still don't think it's fully sunk in for me yet. But straight after the celebrations, and everything calmed down a wee bit, it kind of sunk in. Because at the start, you're just with the hype, you know, you're buzzing, you're trying to get around and see everybody. But 2 weeks after, whenever you sat down and you were talking to each other, and then it was all over, it sunk in. We just looked at each other and said to each other, we're all down. Yeah, that's 2 weeks. For 2 weeks after the Hogan final, everything sunk in.
Sunk into you, definitely did.
Yeah, I think the reality is, before you go to Oisin,
yeah.
Pat Sermal won a Hogan Cup in the 40s, isn't that right? If you can think about it, how many years is that later since when you guys won, like, you know,
60
or whatever. You know,
I think you mentioned that before, so that was interesting. I think John Morrison kept you right now one of them.
Yeah, that's the dreaded historical fact.
Yeah.
So hopefully it will be repeated, but it'll be a big ask.
Yeah. Well, you look, we're being interviewed now, Seamus, many years later.
A long time.
Hopefully Jamie and the lads
will
have plenty of time to think about it.
Laurie mentioned the hard training regime you did at St. Michaels. Was that always the case, or was that just ranked up for that?
No, I'll be honest, having gone through Pat's McElroy, Adrian McGuffin was a very good influence, and you learned a lot from him. Mickey Moore and my club as well. He's been taking Kilcoo and Slacknail, so you picked up things from other trainers and you just sort of implemented them. And in fairness too, the nuns backed us, didn't they, with milk and a bit of protein. It might seem a bit archaic now, but it wasn't at the time that you took whatever you got from them at break time to build up a stamina for after school. Maybe we trained twice a day, didn't we, sometimes?
That's what I'm saying, Seamus. You couldn't train more, Eugene. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
there's not more hours. You need more hours in a day to train more than we trained. You know, people talk about more scientific training, but lack of commitment wasn't a problem.
No.
Did you get away from the lessons, Seamus, at any stage?
Oh, I mean, the place was like pandemonium at times, wasn't it?
I mean, you don't ask about our A levels, Eugene.
No,
No.
no good.
No, you saw what we paid for was in
Yeah.
That's the way it was, you know.
Yeah.
The novelty of it, you know, it's obviously more grounded now when you've been through it before, you know what to do, but
Yeah.
you wouldn't have known what school was or school
The
work
nuns
was.
were static afterwards, weren't they? Like, to be
Ah,
fair.
well, you know.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Brought a bit of
The
ambience to
novelty.
school,
Yeah.
a new sort of dimension.
I just meant to ask you, you know, you had a fantastic management team of these lads here too.
Mm.
Davy Wilson, obviously, fantastic manager.
Yeah. He
Was
played
Mickey-
for us as well at school.
Was Mickey Donnelly's role under play? And Mickey, what was your point of view about Mickey coming from a different county? He must have been very, very committed.
Well, he had the attachment or the connection with St. Paul's, so it all sort of fitted in.
Yeah.
And then Collie Fagan, who I think is, to my opinion, understated or maybe not spoken about enough,
Yeah.
has that great commitment
Yeah.
and very, very meticulous, and he added to it as well. So
Yeah.
that those two men combined with Davy,
Yeah.
I always knew Davy was committed, had him as a young boy.
Yeah.
So that's the three of them just blended superbly.
Fantastic together. We're outside the Tones Club here in Downmaccash. Leo's behind the camera there. He's the brains behind the executive guys and the X factor behind the scenes. Simon Carl gets all the credit for some reason, but some of the people are slowing down to see what we're actually social distance here. We're doing all right.
Yeah.
We're seeing maybe in a couple of years' time, they might be over in Man U or Liverpool, or hopefully not Liverpool. But at some stage, you know, we're all looking forward to this new season starting up again. Basically, looking back from where you were, right, with some Ronans, looking back at St.Michaels. You have a connection there with Pat McGibbon, your uncle. How much of a family influence did you have with your father who played, with Pat McGibbon? Were they a steady influence, and your grandfather as well? Were they a steady influence on you with all this moving through?
Definitely. You talk about the build-up and the pressure that goes into the games. Like, I never really felt any of that. Do you know what I mean? It was more just taking in your stride, and obviously with Pat and my dad and my granda as well. My granda was another one who never missed a match with my dad and my mum as well. Having that there and having the knowledge to have it always helps when you're struggling and when you aren't getting the results. You know, go back the year before when I wasn't playing. It's in those stages where they really come into play and keep you going.
Yeah. So if your uncle Pat could play with our Captian now, then you were able to play in the Macrae Cup final.
Aye, well, I don't know if I compare that to the same, but at the time definitely it was.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah. Jamie, you mentioned a few boys there, a few of the names you mentioned, Jack Paddock, you mentioned Owen. Is there anybody else on that team that have said, looking back, who were maybe one of the stars, but maybe weren't always mentioned? The big keeper was very good for you. That lads up front.
Luke, yes. Luke was excellent.
Yeah.
There's been many times during the group stages in the Camaraderie Cup that Luke's kept us in the game
Yeah.
with his saves.
Yeah.
But Adam Loughlin, he did get a few write-ups, but I'd say Adam Loughlin was one that we maybe looked over a wee bit.
Yeah.
He was a year younger than us boys, so he was. But Adam Loughlin was unbelievable. So he was. You seen in the Macquarie final, his feeling of the ball is crazy.
Yeah.
He was our go-to
Yeah.
kick out.
Yeah.
Nothing else is working.
Yes.
But I'd say Adam Loughlin was looked over a wee bit.
Yeah.
So he was absolute excellent football. You can see now, I think he's in the Antrim senior panel
Squad,
now.
yeah.
And he's one to watch for the future. Definitely.
Brilliant.
See, Eugene, the thing with Adam was actually brought into the team very young, at a young age. I think Adam was on the Macquarie panel from 4th year. So people obviously were just near expecting it from him.
Yeah.
But Adam was a massive influence in that team. And also, Owen McCluskey in the fullback line too was huge, because a lot that year it seemed to be wherever you went, every team, one of the top teams had a good full forward line.
Yeah.
And for that full back line, we've already mentioned Jack and Aidan, and Owen McCluskey was another fantastic player for us. Man Martin and stuff.
Excellent. Good
Couldn't get
memories.
much better.
Fantastic memories. Lawerence, just looking back again, would you come through in '85 and stuff? You know, some great players in that team too. Who would you remember from opposition or people that you played with? Who were the top guys that you played with even?
You know, as I was saying, you know, I'd have thought all our players were good. I say we went from 2 years, you know, with a very strong half back line, '84. You know, and Marsh McCleary said, and you know, Liam McStavick, you know, two of the lads that were lost from that. But you know, like Dooley Hart played county, you know, and Adams, I think Rooster maybe, you know, Colin Loughlin played maybe, you know, for Antrim for a period of time. Colin Walsh was an excellent player, but Colin would have probably been the person, Eugene, who he was an incredible change. Now, you know, he was an okay footballer. See, by the end of it, he's good a footballer as you'd seen, big strong lad, you know, got speed and whatever, you know, and you realise sort of, you know, the ability of this man coaching, you know, to bring somebody on like that, you know what I mean, to be such a footballer by the end of it, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, Gary Catney was a big loss. You know, it didn't sort of push on at county level. Gary was a superb.
Did he get
player.
injured?
Well, he didn't get injured, Eugene, but Gary's I think in America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, and you know, and played for St. Paul's and County Fair, but was a superb player that you thought would have been, you know, if you say like who was the obvious county player, you know, to me Gary would have been, you know. And you know, players like Stu Corey at full forward, you know, our full forward line was lethal. It was a matter of just getting them the ball. You know what I mean? So if you could pass the ball to them, they would do damage.
Yeah.
The only thing limiting them was supply of ball, you know.
Yeah, good enough.
So
Just before we wrap up here, just to let everybody know, a wee bit of road noise in the background, but we're doing all right. Just down at the Wolf Clones Club here, everybody's locked up. We're all back in training again, I think the end of June. And then the football's starting again in July, so we're all looking forward to that as well. Jamie, what do you plan to do with yourself, basically the new season? Are you back at the Tones then?
Back in the Tones, yeah, playing with Tones. We, like you said, we're starting training very soon, collectively. Our big push before this lockdown was we were going hard this year to get back up out of the division we're in and get the championship a go. We were beating the semi-final championship last year. It's hurt. So our big push this year was for the championship. That's what it was before the lockdown came, but I'm not sure what way it's playing out through the league and championship. We're being mixed together, so it's going to be a wee bit different. But we're going to give it the best for the championship.
I think we're going to get maybe 7 one-way matches. Apparently, from what I can gather, hasn't been confirmed, and they're going to scatter the championship out basically between them. And then the county, it's going to be good because the clubs are going to have the county players there for the 2-month period or 2.5 months. And then the county take over and start training in September. So all the county men are going to have football right through with their clubs, which is going to push it on. And then they're going to have a league, maybe 2 or 3 games, then a championship, and then start from there on in with the county coming in. But the county's going to be playing basically in the winter time, which is going to be something different. We're going to be playing October, November and see how it works out. Lawrence, we're trying to get Seamus coach back in the management again. You think there's a chance?
I don't know, but that man's a terrible loss. You know, to be honest, like I remember when they are my under 21s as well. You never mentioned that. You know what I mean? Remember down Cornell Park watching them. You know, superb. That man's success everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's hard work, Eugene. And I'd say the one thing about him is, you know, you'd learn a great lesson from him about hard work, commitment, doing things right. You know, there's no fancy Dan. There's not a dirty blow struck. There's not a, you know what I mean? It's football, hard work. You know, integrity in it.
Yeah.
And it's a terrible loss to the town that he's not involved.
I think so. Did you learn anything from your
That's
peer?
very complimentary on Lawrence's part, to be quite frank. Too much, Lawrence.
Well, the results Seamus spoke for themselves.
Did you learn anything from your peer, Brother Ronans, at the time? Looking back on it.
Brother Ennis was a traditionalist, to be quite honest, and he had a lot of contacts throughout Ireland for playing friendlies, maybe down round Westmeath or maybe going down to Cork or going into Skerries to play Dublin. So in that regard, he ingrained a love in the GA for it. You know, he did. He had a great passion for it.
Excellent.
And that rubbed off.
No bother. Lads, thanks very much. Just going to give the last word to Jamie and Oisin here, the 2 lads who brought the whole thing up to date. Basically, these are looking forward to the new season in whatever capacity it takes. So are you going to balance the Lurgan town up with these Tones then? Are you going to try to do both?
Do my best to try to do both, but I went back into Lurgan town morely for fitness, for sharpness. But saying that when I got there, I always loved playing soccer. I fell in love with it again there. But my big push going with the Gaelic this year with the Tones. But in and out of the soccer, but my big push will be the Gaelic.
So once it starts, you're ready for it.
Yeah.
We're going to get back to normal next year when the proper league's back again. There you are. Oisin, what's your aims now looking forward? I mean, obviously the 2018 thing was fantastic. Where would you like to be? All the world we want you to be. But where would you like to be as a player in 5 years' time? What do you want to do with yourself?
Well, it's as always, Eugene. I just want to play football full time, and that's obviously the big push. And giving up the Sarsfields wasn't easy. You know what I mean? And even being here, I'll be with the Sarsfields every step of the road. You know, in the intermediate, 100%. But obviously, my heart's always been at the soccer, and a big push for it was needed. So these decisions need made.
Yeah, I was talking to Dixie Robinson about it a few weeks back. Dixie said that so many people leave and go with the water, and then come back again. But he hopes that you go when they're ready. Maybe you have to go somewhere bigger anyway, and so it can again like to push you forward. But he reckons that you go, you'll stay and make a success of where you want to go to. So wish you well on that there, and Jamie. Seamus, thanks very much. And Lawrence, just give you the last wee word, just if you don't mind. Did you leave a McCrory medal behind you somewhere?
No, I don't think so, Seamus. I just sort of like to say to the lads, you know, enjoy what you did. You know what I mean? And like, you know, most of the lads I played with, we didn't do very much afterwards. You know, it really, you know, we didn't enjoy it enough, Eugene.
Yeah.
And saying the lads, you forget about, you know, what you do later on and with everything. Enjoy what you did, you know, and recognise how much it meant to people in the town, because that's one thing that we didn't do until we, you know, afterwards, you know, you realised how much it meant to people.
Do you think there's not enough emphasis on people enjoying youth football? Because all you're hearing is, you'll have to do it at senior. I don't think there's enough emphasis on saying, look, let's enjoy
I do,
your youth.
Eugene. I think, you know, there's far too much emphasis put on, you know, success immediately. You know what I mean? Senior football is a very, very hard road. It's, you know, at the first division in Armagh. And people, I hear people ridicule it. It's extremely difficult to do anything, and especially championship, when everyone gets their county men back. And I think it's terrible to be, you know, I hear so much criticism of young players. You know, they're not even ready for senior football. They're being thrown into the deep end, and the next thing, you know, and people criticise them. They may be 21, 22 years of age, you know. 25, 26, if you're not playing well by then, there's an issue, you know. And loads of young players in this town will become very, very good senior players. They've 2 or 3 years still to go. You know, and it's a sin to, you know, knock their confidence like that. You know, getting dropped, you know, people, you know, I just don't like it, you know, and I think people need to say, you know, we've achieved a lot, you know, with these lads.
Enjoy it.
And I'll review my senior career in 4 or 5 years' time.
Exactly.
You know, rather than expect that instant success.
Get on.
You know?
So basically, Laurie denied that Seamus Durney caught him on the chin with the
Henry
left
Durney.
hook. Henry Durney before that final 85. He said it didn't happen.
No, it did. Well, it's up for discussion.
I'm not making any excuse. I was played off the field, Eugene. I
There you
hold the
go.
hand up.
All
Not
right,
make
mate.
any excuses
One
for
of
why.
you two boys all the best as well in your future careers.
Thanks very much.
Okay. and
Thanks very much, chaps. And we'll wrap
Thanks,
that up.
Eugene.
Good luck to
Thank
you.
you, Eugene.
We're getting out of the heat. Thank you, Leo.
Thanks, Leo.